Hello, my name is Jonathan. I'm going to talk to you about a topic that, despite the fact that it has always existed today, is bombing and is this police brutality and has such what happened to George Floyd. Next, I will show you a video about this video.
The same scenes, decades apart. Protests, fury, anger, hurt spilling out across America and around the world. The cause, racism, police brutality, inequality. George Floyd was a 46-year-old father who was stopped by police in Minneapolis on the 25th of May. Suspected of using fake money to pay for cigarettes. A white police officer was seen kneeling on Mr. Floyd's neck as he was pinned to the ground. He repeatedly cried, "I can't breathe." He was held down for 8 minutes and 46 seconds. After 6 minutes, he stopped moving. George Floyd's death has echoes of many others. Trayvon Martin was shot and killed by a man in Sanford, Florida, as he walked alone one evening. George Zimmerman was eventually charged but found not guilty. The acquittal led to public outrage and the beginning of the Black Lives Matter movement. 18-year-old Michael Brown was fatally shot by police in Ferguson. Eric Garner was choked by a police officer. His dying words were, "I can't breathe." And there are more. America has a long, painful history of racism and segregation. Until the 60s, African Americans were made to live separately from white people and didn't have the right to vote. Nowadays, policing in America varies from state to state. In North Carolina, it takes just 16 weeks to become a police officer, half the time it takes to become a licensed barber in the state. Racism and inadequate training in a country awash with guns are a toxic mix. But in America now, the fight for justice, liberty, and equality has spread across the world and has become everyone's.
George Floyd's death happened in Minneapolis in May 25 in the Powderhorn neighborhood in the United States as a result of his arrest with 4 local police officers. Within days, the incident sparked a wave of outrage and protests across the United States against what they called racism, xenophobia, and police abuse and African American citizens in that country. The protests also spread to other cities in the world. Derek Chauvin, 44 years, was identified as the officer who pinned Floyd to the ground and suffocated him by killing on his neck. He was working in the Minneapolis Police Department since 2001. Chauvin had 18 complaints on his official record, 2 of which ended in disciplinary action by the department, including official letters of repression. He was involved in 3 shootings, one of which had fatalities on May 29. Chauvin was arrested and taken into custody. He was charged with third-degree murder and the prosecutor increased third-degree murder changed to second degree. Police brutality has existed forever, but with social networks the news of the events has expanded, and not only in the United States but also in this country. This problem should not have happened. It does not mean that the police are there to serve and protect people. This problem comes from the top of the high command that gives order that they shall not give and police that shall not be. In the world there are still good police that only want to do their job and help. If they were all like this, would be different. I'm going to explain a little more about what police brutality is: the use of excessive and or unnecessary force by personnel affiliated with law enforcement tasks when dealing with suspects and civilians. The term also applies to abuses by correctional staff in municipal, state, and federal penal facilities, including middle jails. The term police brutality is generally applied in the context of causing physical and psychological harm to a person. It may also involve physiological harm through the use of intimidation tactics beyond the scope of the officially sanctioned police procedure. Beginning in the 18th and 20th centuries, those involved in police brutality may have acted with the implicit approval of the local legal system, as during the civil rights movement era. In the contemporary era, people involved in police brutality may do so with the tacit approval of their superiors, or they may be corrupt officers. In any case, they can perpetrate their actions under the color of the law and, in most cases, participate in a subsequent cover-up of their illegal activity. And through this story, the efforts that law enforcement agencies have made have been marred by police brutality to some degree in the ancient world. Vigilance entities actively cultivated an atmosphere of terror, and abusive treatment was spread in search of subjugation and control. For example, the New Testament records many incidents in which Roman guards inflicted unwarranted violence of members of the growing Christian minority. And this not only happened with George Floyd, that was only a case now to the media, but there are thousands of other cases of police brutality, and this has to end. These events are worldwide. During the Hong Kong protests in 2014, there were many cases of police brutality. 7 policemen were caught on video kicking and beating a prominent political activist who was already handcuffed. There were also more than hundreds of police incidents hitting passers-by with batons. Many people have been brutally beaten by the police in Bangladesh. Several protesters were beaten with sticks and sticks while protesting for insulting Islam. In May 2017, a young man named Shamin Reha was killed by the police at the Sargon police station. The victim's father claimed that his son was brutally tortured at the police station, as the police wanted $600 billion. Police investigated this and found the officer in charge, Arun Torafar Sipaltoguch, and asked Uttam Pradesh guilty of the charges. And this is the end of this webinar.